Need an education on how to grow your business? The nice guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
We made it back.
That's my favorite part of the show. I love that intro. I could listen to it all day, every day.
Is it because it's got my name attached to it?
Yes, Doug. It's because it has your name attached to it. That's exactly why.
We're having a lot of fun. This is, the thing that people can't see is we have so many pieces of electronics open right now. I got my phone in front of me. I have my little Roland recorder. I got my Mac. You have your non-Mac, whatever that is. What is that exactly?
This is, it's you got to have the toys. It's all about the toys.
What the heck is that? Is that a microphone? There's a huge microphone.
It's well, that's just genetics, Doug. Come on, I mean, really. No, you see, what I love about our mics, we have the same mic, and Doug's is all silver. Mine is all black. We'll put a picture up sometime where you can see it, but it's like the yin and the yang of the microphones.
I love this is probably the most exciting thing that of this entire business is trying to get this podcast off the ground. You don't even realize, Strick, how ignorant I am with all of this stuff.
Well, that's all about finding the right partners and doing, I pretend like I know technology, but as Doug found out as we were trying to set this up for our first podcast, I don't know nearly as much as I should.
Well,
apparently.
That's okay, Strick. I love you just the same because I know less than you, so we're all good.
Well, I'm sure our listeners don't want to hear about our technical inabilities to get this done. They just want to hear the podcast and get the great
What are we doing? Tell me,
tips.
What's today? Tell me what it's all about today.
Today, we are all about how to get that first customer.
Oh gosh, I love that. I love networking. Now, are we talking about networking?
Well, I think that's the best way, I think, to get that first customer. But man, networking can mean a lot.
Okay, so how do we do it? All right, so let's just cover basically where did we leave off last time?
Where we left off last time. In case you guys have waited a whole week, we are Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner. We are all about growing your business, your small business, your non-existent business. Even if you got a big business, we're going to help you grow it. And we have so much information to give you. We're going to start at the beginning.
But don't quit that job yet. Don't quit. If you haven't quit the job yet, just hold on. Just let us give you some information. Let us give you the tools, the tactics, and the techniques that you need to get moving.
Because we're only doing one every week, unfortunately. We'd love to give the whole thing to you in a day, but no, you got to be patient. Got to come back for more.
All
subscribe.
Right. All right. So we do want them to subscribe, right?
Oh, gosh, yes, absolutely. Every week on Tuesday, we're going to be putting a new podcast out, and that means you should subscribe to the Nice Guys podcast and hear some great new tips every single week. And look, let us know what you guys want to hear because, if there's stuff that is boring you or stuff that's exciting, we want your feedback. We got all week to read them, and we can change it up.
Who's going to be bored? This is top-notch. You cannot get this anywhere else.
You can't pay good money for this, and it's free.
Wait, is it free?
It's free.
Can we start charging for these already?
We're not going to do that yet, Doug. Not yet. Maybe down the road somewhere.
No way. I like free is good. I think free is important. I think spread the love, spread the message. We have so many great things that we can cover. And between the two of us, I think we have maybe 60 years of business experience. And we can teach people how to do this. It's just a matter of whether they're actually going to do it or not. I hope you follow our directions.
Absolutely. So let's start with figuring out how to get that first customer.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about networking. This is a tough spot because this is really hard. If you have somebody, a lot of people have said to me, well, I'm an introvert. I really don't like networking.
Yeah, Doug, I'm shy. I'm really shy.
All right. So that happens. And we know that a majority of people that are out there feel like they're shy, but they do have a passion for the product or service that they're going to offer. They have some connections, but they just don't have enough. So let's get into it and teach them a little bit about how to network. So should we start with just the plain old I'm going to a meeting networking thing?
Yeah, and I think the passion for the product is important. If you don't have that, you're just never going to be able to do it. So if you don't love what you're doing, the widget that you've created or the service, if you are not absolutely incredibly passionate about it, move on.
Believe.
Find something you are passionate about. So the networking, Doug, there's so much stuff online and social media and Facebook and Twitter, and I can buy Twitter followers. Now, why would I want to go and meet somebody in person? It's just so much trouble.
Because they have no idea who you are. You buy how many, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Twitter a lot. And I would say that probably 1 out of every 15 or 20 people that follow me is that little thing that says, hey, we'll give you 500 followers for $5. You're not getting anywhere with that because you're buying an Android. You need to buy. You need to invest time in yourself. You need to make sure that you're out there, that you're plugging away, that you're building relationships one at a time. I'd much rather have 10 solid, good relationships than 1,000 Twitter followers that I bought for $5.
So getting 1 million Twitter followers will not guarantee sales for me?
Was that a doctor?
1 million Twitter followers. Yes, as you will find out down the road, I will make movie references.
Too many.
Often.
Too many. So, all right. So they're trying to build connections. People are trying to get out there. They're trying to build connections, and they're going to do it through networking. They're going to do it through social media. We can start with social media if you want to. Would that
Look,
be a good
I
place?
think the in-person, Doug, I think there's so much talk about social media, and we may end up actually having a whole podcast on that. But to me, the one-on-one meeting, it's not a thing of the past. It is absolutely not something that's old school and doesn't need to be done anymore. It does need to be done. I think we should start there.
So you have somebody, they work for a company, and they have this passion, they have this product that they think that they want to put out there in the world. How do you do it where you don't feel like you're stealing time from your boss?
Wow, now that's a tough one. So I'm doing this on the side, on the sly.
Well,
I'm like moonlighting with my own company.
Yeah, you're moonlighting, but you're on your own time. So you're a part of an association, something a little bit bigger than you, and you're going to their meetings, and you just want to start talking about this new thing. How do you change gears? How do you? I mean, I did it. I did it from my entertainment business to my speaking business. Nobody that is in my the association that I belong to, which is called MPI, by the way, Meeting Planners International. There's a little plug for them. No one that was in that association even knew that I was a DJ. The minute, and you were there with that first meeting that I went to.
I certainly was. They saw you as a speaker, a motivational speaker, right, and a writer.
And I have to tell you, it was a little unusual just going to that first meeting, thinking, how am I gonna turn the corner from being that guy that's DJ Doug, that other persona, that other career that I had led for 30 years. That was a hard switch to just turn. How do you turn that?
Well, you got to reinvent yourself. And Doug, one of the things that I've learned from you that I think is a great one, you have a great line that says, "Don't puke product." You need a non-sales approach because nobody wants to buy. Nobody wants to hear about the cool widget that you have or the thing that you're selling. I mean, do you guys have any friends that do that whole multi-level marketing thing? And as soon as they start talking about the vitamins or the skin cream or whatever it is, you can tell immediately they get in that tone of voice and they're trying to sell you. And you just shut down. I mean, I do.
Well, I can tell you, though, being a guy that for many, many years was involved, you're trying to search. You're trying to find that one thing that's going to work for you. And many years ago, I was involved in network marketing. And I'll tell you the one thing.
You used to do network market
I did.
Goodbye, Doug. I got to leave.
Well, wait. That's not. You've just turned your back on probably half of the people that are listening to the podcast. I'm telling you that there are people that are out there that are in network marketing that the only thing that separates them from somebody that might be like the superstar in network marketing. It's not the product. It's not the service. It's not the pyramid. It's not the whole sense of you helping somebody else get rich. It's the relationship. I'm telling you, there was a ton of things from network marketing that I pulled that I think were really winners for me. I loved it. I mean, you could say that it's a scheme, but I would tell you that that's something that really, really got my head on straight when it comes to relationships.
Well, Doug, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on that one, and I'll stick around for a little bit longer and see what else you have to say about it. But I do believe that the approach of that is incredibly important because I'm sure everybody out there has heard that pitch from a friend, maybe from somebody they've known for a really long time. And they're like, no, buy X, buy this widget, buy that. And then you can get people underneath you and people underneath you. And
yeah, but
you can't approach it that way.
I know, but you're right. You're 100% right. You can approach it that way. I think what scares people when you're involved in some level, and we're turning a corner and we're talking about network marketing. We might not even want to go in this direction, but I think it's called affiliate marketing now. Is that what it's called?
I believe that is the new term.
But it's not about, they're afraid to talk to you when you're involved in network marketing because they're afraid of that script. I really think it's the script. And I think that let's move from network marketing and affiliate marketing and just look at it in terms of, why do people shy away from you when you're involved in something like that? They shy away from you because all you're doing is you're heading down this path, and the path is just this scripted, canned, ugly. There's no human approach to it. The people that do well in any type of marketing are the people that take time to build a relationship, and that's why I think that networking in general is critical. The human experience, the going out to a meeting, the association thing, and or the office meeting, or even if it's just like what's the one of the associations, Business Networking International, BNI. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of them, but just to go to them, even Toastmasters, any association that you can put together. A common bond, a common interest, and really start focusing on the things that you want to say. All you're doing is you're starting to build up calluses. You're starting to build up this path, this thing that you need to go down. Every time that you have a conversation, you need to build some passion, you need to build some product knowledge, but you need to do it in a way that people, they like you. You want them to like you. And
Doug, I'm glad you brought up Toastmasters. I know they're not a group that makes toast or teaches you how to make toast. And they've been around for 100 years, and I know people who know about them may think, oh, yeah, it's some old fogey organization or whatever. Toastmasters is an incredible foundation to start on if you are the kind of person where you feel like, oh, I can't just go up and talk to people. I'm uncomfortable speaking in public, and I'm too shy. Toastmasters is really all about how to be comfortable talking to people and what to say and how to, it's a great foundation to start with that if you feel like it's something you're not.
Okay, so we have this introduction, we have this networking. We need to get beyond now let's put them in a meeting. Give me some nuts and bolts now. Let's talk about you're in front of somebody and you have no idea what to say. You just don't know where to go.
Well, you've probably heard the term elevator speech, and that's where your elevator speech comes in. And Doug said it earlier, you don't want to do the speech. So the hard part of it is you need to know what you're going to say. You can't make it sound like a speech. Really, it's got to be, hey, I'm working on this thing, or I have this product, or I have this great service, and let me tell you about it. And it's about the feedback also. You've got to talk about it with passion, like it's something that you love.
I think that's it.
You got to love what you're selling and what you're pushing, and so it doesn't feel like you're pushing it. You're really just talking about it. And
I wouldn't even, for me, I don't even know if I would get into the whole, let me tell you about let me tell you about this great product or service that I have. I just think that you just have a conversation. You and I sitting down and having a conversation across a dinner table or a banquet table about just life in general. I think if you start with the relationship, you start with what's important to that guy that's sitting across the table from you or that woman that's sitting across the table from you, I think all of a sudden things start to open up. You hear opportunity, but you don't pounce. Somebody says, we're having a conversation. Let's just say I'm in the professional speaking business, and the person sitting across the table from me is in the association business, and she's in a great position to be able to hire speakers. What am I going to do? Go in there and just say, hey, I'm a great speaker. You should use me because I got all these great products and services, and I think that I have a book and I got this and that. You can't do that. You're going to scare the crap out of them. So what you need to do is you need to make them feel comfortable with you. Why don't you ask questions? I mean, I'm not saying what you're telling me is wrong. I'm saying it's so important for you to build that relationship first. Find out about what is she like doing? Why is she a part of this association? What's in it for her? What does she like about it?
Well, and that gets down to the customer experience. Find out what they want, what they need. And Doug, you're right. I know you say it all the time. You're given one mouth and two ears for a reason. It's so you can listen twice as much as you talk.
Well, I also say be sure that brain is engaged before putting mouth in gear.
Yeah, that's a tough one too. When you go to a networking, don't walk in and have 5 drinks right off the bat, because then that won't ever happen. So it is important. You got to listen to what the customer wants. Everybody that you talk to is a potential customer, and so listen to them and their interests and what they do for a living, and Yeah, figure out how your product or your service could be worked into that if it's something that they could use. But listen to them first.
And I don't even think that it's important at that meeting. If you think that you're going to close somebody at a networking meeting or at an opportunity to just be at a mixer and trying to figure out where they are with their business, I think you're wrong if you think that you're going to close them. Right now, the key is to put more people on that list. You got to build a list. You got to build it until you have 10,000 people on that list. You should not be closing anybody to try to figure out, they're going to be perfect for my product or service. We all know that what you have is great. Okay, we all have the best product out there in the world.
I know I do.
So how do we? But everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that they deliver the best service. Everybody thinks that they have the best product. Everybody thinks that everything that they're doing is so much better than their competition. The people that we're talking to, they know that. They're going to try to avoid us if we just go in there and just start slamming product at them. So we're building a relationship. We're talking to them about all the great things that we, that are in their life, and then let's talk about the next step. So we've met them, we've gotten their business card, we've gotten a little information from them. What would you do?
Well, from there, you said it, Doug, you got to build that list. You got to make notes, and you got to come up with some kind of a system to do that. Everybody is a little bit different. Everybody thinks a little differently. But if you've got a MailChimp, if you've got Outlook, if you've got a piece of paper, if you have Excel, I always prefer electronic to a piece of paper. But again, it's really whatever you are comfortable with and whatever is going to work best for you. Make sure and get lots of information about somebody. You're going to get their phone number and their name and their email address, of course. But make notes about what they're about because you're going to forget.
All right. So you have all this information. How do you follow up? Do you go through email? Do you connect with them on LinkedIn? Do you go through social media? Do you hit them from all of those resources? Do you scare the hell out of them? You hit them from 27 angles. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you got to hit them from 27 angles. Absolutely. But the first thing you need to do is get back to them right away with an email or a personal note and say, hey, it was great meeting you the other night.
I like that. Definitely.
And you've got to think about creating that personal relationship. Don't think about selling them. Like you said, you're not going to close them at a networking meeting. You may not close them for a week or a month, but you know what? If you stay in touch with them and keep up with them and find out what it is they need and say, hey, thanks, you got to create that relationship. And you know what? 6 months down the road, maybe you've run into them or you've at least emailed them once a month.
But I need business now, Strickland.
Well,
I need business now.
That is not always going to happen.
That desperate approach is really an ugly way to approach this. You can't do that.
Just like animals, people can smell desperation, and it's not pretty. It doesn't smell good.
And what's interesting about it is if you connect with enough people at networking meetings, and we're just talking about live networking for now, but if you connect with enough people at networking meetings, what you'll find is there are some people that are positioned to not need your product or service for maybe 6 months or a year. There are going to be people you're going to meet that are going to need it tomorrow. The idea behind it is don't get overeager. Don't pounce on them. If somebody says, yeah, we're looking for a speaker now, don't start saying, hey, I'm the perfect guy, I'm the one for you. Or if they're looking for your product or service, certainly throw it out there. But be ready to not, you're not going to be successful every time, and that's okay. Just be there for them when they are ready to go. So we've had the networking meeting. We've collected, I don't know, how many, what do you collect? 5 or 10 cards at a networking meeting, or you
should probably collect more than that. I definitely think you want to.
Oh, you're that guy that walks around and just say, can I have your card?
Well, you can't do that. You can be that guy, but that is definitely not the best way to do it. I think you need to set yourself a goal of, I'm going to meet 5 people, I'm going to meet 10 people, I'm going to get all their cards. And the important thing of them maybe even not needing your service now is you never know who they know that may need your service down the road.
That's
and if
true.
you stay in touch with them and they think you're a good guy and they trust in you, they're going to recommend you to their friends, even if it's a service that they can't use.
All right, so they're there. We've met them at the networking meeting, and we've got a whole bunch of people that we've gotten together with.
And before we get out of the networking meeting, Doug, you've mentioned the 3-foot rule before. Can you explain that to me?
Sure. Well, anytime anybody gets within 3 feet of me, I'm going to tell them what I do, or I'm going to at least start asking them some questions, or I'm going to at least find out what they're all about. For me, if I open up my mouth and start talking, at least enough to ask them questions about what they're all about, it really does help me just start focusing on building my list, because right now networking is all about just building the list. You're going to build it one person at a time. You're not going to build it 100 people at a time. So you get to this networking meeting, somebody gets within 3 feet of you, you at least ask them for their card, you ask them a couple of questions, you tell them what you do, you can't ascertain whether they're interested in your product or service or not. All you're doing is trying to gather some information.
All right, so I've been now to 4 networking meetings in a month, and my list is up to now 50 people.
Oh, good.
What am I going to do with that list?
Okay, so here's what I would do. Connect with them in the best source that you feel would be proper for that person. So you may look, let's say you run into John Smith and you get back to your office and you start entering information into the computer just to put them in your database, your list, and you go through the normal cycle of social media and you see that he's got 124 followers on LinkedIn and he has 5,000 followers or 124 connections on LinkedIn and 5,000 followers on Twitter. Where do you think that he is more active?
So, Doug, are you trying to tell me that not every person I meet wants a Facebook message for me to contact them?
Facebook is good. I mean, I don't know. I'm not as into Facebook as I am LinkedIn and Twitter. I feel like Facebook is a little bit more of a social setting. I love Twitter because of the simplicity of it and the speed in which you can communicate. I also like LinkedIn because it is a great opportunity for me to do a whole bunch of background check of anybody that I network with. It can help me see who else they're connected to, and if that person has any influence with them, that would be great too, because not only does networking help you build your list, but networking with people that they know also is going to expand your list even faster. And
finding that commonality that you may have with that customer or potential customer is incredibly important to create that relationship with them. You look on their LinkedIn and you see that they went to Ishkabibble College, or that they joined a certain organization, anything that you have in common with them that can help strike up a conversation. It's incredibly important. And LinkedIn is a ridiculously great resource.
LinkedIn is great for that. And I would say that if you're not connected through LinkedIn, you immediately need to start doing that, because there are so many connections that you can make through LinkedIn, and people, and like Strick said, they may have gone to the same college that you went to. They may have been from the same hometown, but graduated 10 years after you. They could have gone to. They could be a part of many discussion groups that you're also a part of. Can I talk about that for 1 second? I know we're not specifically going to focus on LinkedIn right now, but we'll come back to that. We got a whole podcast just about LinkedIn and social media. But if you are not participating in LinkedIn and connected in there, and you're not working in the discussion groups, you need to do that right now. Stop. Okay, I'm going to say it. I know you're not going to like it. Stop listening to the podcast right now. You can come back to that. Make your connections on LinkedIn. Go to a discussion group. Enter in a conversation. You will be surprised at how many people are actually involved in the discussion groups.
But I don't even have email.
What do you mean?
What's email?
You don't have email. We really got to get to those networking events for you then.
And Doug, you're right. You can't overstate the importance of LinkedIn too much, because it's the Facebook of business. I mean, really, that's what it's about. If all of your friends are on Facebook and that's how they chat, all of your business relationships and all your potential customers are on LinkedIn doing the same.
All right, so we'll have a whole podcast. You promised me that we'll do that. We'll have are you writing notes?
I'm making a note right now.
Well, I'm writing it down. You got your pink headphones. What is up with his pink headphones?
Oh, come on, really? You're going to make... No, I have $1,000 Beats headphones on now as I'm producing.
These are Polaroid headphones. Probably $5 headphones. They're pink.
How on earth am I going to be cool with pink headphones? You're not supposed to tell them that.
I'm trying to take you seriously, and you're wearing these.
Doug's in his underwear. Yeah. No, he's not really. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God, that was great. I just happened to look over, and I saw the pink headphones, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, Strick, really? Pink headphones?
No respect at all. I think it's a really good time to wrap this one up now that Doug is kind of taking that tangent off to pink headphones. Let's go over real quick exactly what we've talked about. A little wrap up. So there will not be a quiz after. But, if you want to go back and listen, we've talked about networking. How do you build your network? How do you build your list? How do you meet that first customer? And the in-person connections are incredibly important, because when you only meet somebody online, it's that much more difficult to make that initial connection.
I think the personal connections are really the best ones, and it will help you practice for those people that you are going to meet online, because it is about building relationships. It's 100% 100% about building relationships, solid connections. And when you're sitting across a table or standing in a networking meeting with somebody and directly next to them, I'll tell you, silence says a lot. You're reading body language, you're reading expressions, you're trying to figure out, what they're all about, and you really, really need to perfect that and be much better at that. I work on that all the time. I think I'm a good networker, but I don't enjoy networking, but I know that you have to do it in order to, just to try to get to that next level and build your list.
You have to do it, and listen. You've got to listen and keep an eye on what the best way to contact somebody is. Just because you love email or voicemail or Twitter does not necessarily mean that every one of your customers likes that too. You got to treat each customer as an individual and market to them, connect the way they want to be connected to.
All right, so can we talk about, on our next podcast, can we talk about social media?
Yeah, I think on this podcast, we've really gotten into how to get that list together. The next one is going to be on how to expand on that list, how to get them to actually purchase your product, know what you're all about, tell their friends, who'll tell two friends, who'll tell two friends, and social media is the way to do that.
Do I need to wait a week? I gotta wait a week.
Doug, you need to wait a week.
I'm going to get a pair of those pink headphones.
No, you can't get pink headphones. Those are my pink headphones. Stay away from my pink headphones.
All right, wrap it up, Strick.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, it is the Nice Guys podcast. And if you like us, then like us. Click on the like. Give us some feedback on iTunes or on BlackBerry. However you get the podcast, please give us feedback because we want to know what you want to know. We want to make sure that our content is important to you. If you've got questions, send them in. We'll answer them. Please let us know what you guys are all about so we can cater our content to that.
Who's the guy that's going to take us out of here?
The guy that's going to take Steve O'Brien. I love that guy. He's got the big voice. We're so professional.
Let's hear it, Steve.
Thanks for listening to The Nice Guys with your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner. Get more info and stay in touch at niceguysonbusiness.com.